Seriously though, I had an econ professor that when anything went wrong, he would just go, "Thanks, Reagan," because he's like, more often than not, it's probably right. And absolutely, looking at graphs like that, Reagan is the harbinger of doom. Whether it's mass incarceration rates, wealth inequality, wage stagnation, more wage stagnation, more inequality, more wealth inequality, and of course, healthcare spending and life expectancy.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And yes, Ronald Reagan championed trickle-down economics and turned greed into a religion. The kind of religion where there is a stark difference between the priesthood and the masses. Because the religion became the Republican Party. And while the office holders fattened their guts and fattened their wallets, they did so at the expense of poor white Americans, whom they won over.
I vote we start a new game, 7 Degrees of Ronald Reagan. We find a major problem in a country or for the entire world, whatever, and I bet you we can tie it back to Reagan in some way. He was involved!
And this is where Reagan set perhaps an even more dangerous precedent, the pattern of politics being nothing but idle rhetoric, all talk and no walk. He conned the generation that grew up seeing him play cowboy on TV by selling them the same mockery. He convinced people that there was a monster under the bed called Big Brother. All of their life's trouble was to be blamed on government. He told people never to trust anyone who says, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help," even though he was the one that was saying exactly that. And that's where the con comes into play. Reagan promised small government and then went ahead and raised the debt ceiling so many times it still stands head and shoulders above all other presidents as a record today. Reagan didn't make government small, he simply made it work for him, made it work for all people who never worked. He made it so CEOs can sit back and do nothing while raking in money off the top. He killed the middle class and made a system of haves and have-nots and ensured that things would keep going that direction indefinitely. What was revealed through all of this was that if you have the rhetoric, you don't need the support of facts. Reagan kept parading this limited government myth and people bought it. They could see working class people getting the shaft right before their eyes, and if they paid attention, they could witness the elites walking off with the public's money plain as day too. But the people didn't see it and the politicians rejoiced. For years, all Republicans idolized Reagan as the model of how to take advantage of the system, how to get a financial foothold, and then use government office to dig in towards full monopoly. That became the Republican American dream. When you write the tax codes, it's pretty easy to declare zero year after year while you rake in all the dough. While you write the laws, it's pretty easy to work your employees to death 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with never a day off, never a benefit on less than starvation wages. But despite all of his flaws and all the trouble he introduced into our politics, at least Ronald Reagan stopped short of being a fascist. Today, the Republican Party has finally moved away from Ronald Reagan, and there was a time when we thought that that would be a good thing, but that's not the reality. The truth is that the modern Republican has all the greed and more of Reagan with the introduction of pure stupidity and blatant criminality. They've taken the model of rhetoric over reality to extremes. Modern Republicans lie with every single word, and they've plunged to the depths of a completely un-American virus working to kill our democracy. Now, we are not just fighting greed in the Republican Party, but we're fighting criminal corruption. We've got to fight back to try and force common sense back into the minds of the middle-class people who are voting Republican despite the fact that these scoundrels are their very worst enemy. And yes, Reagan made it difficult too by killing the fairness doctrine. But if he had to do it all over again, would Reagan walk the same path, knowing that the events he set off could have been the death of America herself? Or did his greed at least have no boundary? I guess we'll never know. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.